everyone plays soccer. Everyone plays soccer at night. Okay, so Sarah and I, Saturday night, and hola! And we're gonna go out and get some tacos, right?
Yeah.
I've been kind of stood up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I'm your date.
So now Sarah's my date, which I'm happy about because I always stand up other people, so it's only right that I get stood up, right? But if I have a slight inclination of this guy is kind of great, then I have to run as fast as I can in the other direction.
Right.
This guy who stood me up, I've known him since I was 17 years old, and he told me last night that I make him feel like a teenager again.
Scared.
So we're gonna go to the Poseidon and see if we find him, and then we're gonna go get tacos. So, see you soon. How you guys doing this morning? What do you think of my hat? Gung Ho gave it to me. Think it's better than this one? Yeah. Anyways, so last night was a bit of a failure. Sarah and I went out and we didn't stay out for very long. And I ended up dancing with my online family, and that was always fun. But I went to sleep early because right now I'm waiting for my friend who I was supposed to meet last night for dinner, but he went surfing and he bummed his knee, and so he couldn't meet with us. I happen to think that it's a bit of an excuse. So instead, we made plans for today, which is a lot more easier than nighttime. We're gonna go 4x4 vehicle up the mountain, and it should be really fun. Anyways, I'm gonna bring my GoPro because it's action day, and I'm super excited. I gotta tell you a little secret about this guy. Since I was 17 years old, I had, you know, a bit of a crush on him, but nothing ever happened because, well, he's like, I got hair in my eye. He's like, Mr. Surfer, I'm too cool for girls. Everything is about surfing. He's like a guy's guy, so he can't really be messing around with the girls. He's like gotta be really into surfing. So we never like kind of hooked up. He's from like the Newport, Rhode Island beach. There was hardly anybody here, and he used to come back in the day, and he'd come with like a whole group of guys. I was like 17 at the time, and out to have some fun every single year. Okay, we gotta go. A car's here. Somebody's here. Aha! You ready? He's here, I gotta go. So here I am recording. So this is a little bit of a story time video because I've had a little bit of a story time happen recently. And it starts
30 years ago.
Yeah, it starts like 26 years ago. And I came to Costa Rica for the first time. I met a guy. He was the bee's knees. And I thought he was so cute, and he was so different than all the Toronto guys because he was a surfer. You know any surfers in Toronto? I'm tan, dude. And he was like athletic and tanned and great looking, so I liked him at the time, and I kind of like I had like this huge crush on him. When I came back the following year, he showed no interest in me. I ended up being with a friend of his that kind of had the same vibe. Because he used to come like with a whole group of guys, and he's like a guy's guy. Not into the girls. It's all about the guys surfing. Yeah. So it wouldn't be cool if he's here on vacation with a bunch of his surfing guys, and now he's all hot for some Canadian chick. Right? Not cool. He never showed me any interest. But we always keep in touch over the years. Before Facebook, we always made tabs on each other because I would come here and sometimes he was just here, or I would come here and sometimes he had just left. And then if I was here and he was here, he would kind of like see each other and be like this, hey. So then when I was 26, I came and lived here for a year. But during that time, he came to town and he walked into my room and I opened the door and like, oh, Jim. And he slammed me against the wall and just started making out with me. I was like, whoa, where did this come from? Like, he likes me? I didn't even know he likes me. Go home, forget about it. Facebook comes into play. We have a lot of the same friends. We know a lot of the same people. And he's always flirty with me. He gets married. He has 3 kids. He always comes to my gate. Hey, how are you doing? Like at the worst time when we're like coming out of the shower, I'm like all dirty and I've been in the garden you know, like a horrible time, and he always comes by at the worst time. I'm like, he's here, holy shit, what am I doing? And we were Facebook friends, and before he met my grandmother, which was a couple months ago, about 6 months ago, he comes to my gate. I'm like, oh, how's the wife? How's the kids? And he's, oh, we're divorced. I'm like, oh, that's too bad. He goes, yeah, but I have a girlfriend. I'm like, oh, that's good. And he always like, hi, and we should get together, and then it never happens. So that's fine. So when my grandmother came to visit, he made a point of visiting my grandmother and flirting with me in front of my grandmother, like saying like, you know, she was the one that got away kind of deal. And so I thought, oh, he's so sweet, like he's flirting with me in front of my grandma. I think maybe he likes me, right? So it's okay, cool. And then so I find out this trip that he's here, that this girl he just met in like some skating rink in Rhode Island or something, and she was cold, and he gives her his big, expensive, down-filled coat, and she falls in love with him. And then they do all these texting back and forth, and this led up to him telling me that he has a girlfriend.
But it was just texting and...
But it was just texting, and
right.
They just met.
Yeah.
But that was good enough for him to tell me he has a girlfriend.
Right.
Okay. So I think when he meets my grandmother, okay, he has a bit of a crush on me, and you know, I'm into it. So he this trip, he starts to send me emails like I make him feel like a teenager, and you know, that he'd like to get together with me. He started flirting, like I'm like, whoa, you know, he's hot to trot. I wouldn't mind entering into something with the right person, and because I've known him for so long, I think, okay, I've always been attracted to him, and he's very nice, and I've known him for a long time, and maybe he could be the one that I, you know, get back on the horse with. Even if it's just for one night, it might be fun. So he was open to it. So yesterday, he's like, finally, it was our first date. We've known each other for 30 years. He's gonna take me quad running. We're gonna go up into the mountains in these four-wheel, you know, motorized vehicles. We had so much fun. I saw areas of Hako that I've never seen. I saw the terrain of this area that opened my eyes up. Like, I kind of thought that this mountain ridge here went all the way to the beach, but when I did this run, I realized that there's like a whole valley in between these two different mountain ridges. So it was really neat to see like the whole terrain of all of Hako and all of Hiradora. And my camera didn't last, so I didn't get hardly any of those pictures, but I'm gonna go back and get some really, like, it was just a beautiful tour. So I had a great time.
This is an amazing piece of property. There's no other property in Costa Rica like it. Two of the most famous beaches on either side. Water on three sides and front. I mean, there's nothing like this farm.
He wanted to stay at a hotel. We come back here, he books a hotel. But every instant, he's like, in front of people saying things like, we're on our honeymoon, like, and stuff like that. Like, but when we're together, his body language is making sure that I won't touch him, that we won't have any actual physical intimacy. Even in the pool when we were together, and he was joking with those people from St. Louis about how, you know, this is my ex, and or this is my, we're on our honeymoon. Or he said, I don't know, I forget what he, and so I'm like, ha ha ha, funny. And I went up to him, and he was leaning against the edge, and I kind of gave him a little massage, and he didn't really respond to that. So there was something. He's just not into me that much. He's playing me. He's yanking my chain. I don't know what he's doing. But it was really weird. So I thought, okay, so he's not into having like just a wonderful, hot sexual encounter because he's not seeming to physically allowing that to happen. I mean, we could just go back to the hotel room right now and have fun. But he was like, too busy, like, oh, we gotta do surf lessons, we gotta go in the pool, we gotta get something to eat, and there's Pico, and there's this person, and he's being all social, and seriously social with you, like trying to make plans with you to get you to the airport. Weird.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with him. It was like he was, I don't know, like trying to deflect any real conversation or any with me.
Yeah.
here?
And there was a couple things, like he was talking about this ex-girlfriend. He told me this whole story with the coat and this and that it was actually nothing. But this was when we were on the ATV tour, so, you know, time went by and the conversation stopped because something happened. So when we're sitting there at the hotel, having something to eat, I said, you know, do you mind me asking you more about this ex-girlfriend? Because he didn't finish the story. And he turns to me and he says, I'll give you 20 minutes to ask me about my ex. I thought, wow, you know, I'm not interested in interrogating you. These are not questions that I want to know for my benefit. Like, I don't give a shit about your ex-wife and ex-girlfriend. But if I'm gonna get to know you, like perhaps because I've known you for 30 years, okay, maybe you don't wanna have like a hot, sexy night with me. Maybe you wanna get to know me. So let's talk and like get to know where you at, like where your relationships at, how you feel about them, like where are you feeling at this stage of the game? You have kids, there was, you know, your ex-wife cheated on you, like how you feeling? But for him to give a time limit of 20 minutes to talk about it, this is something that is a part of his life forever.
Yeah.
This is going to be an ongoing conversation to any woman that's involved with him. So that was a really weird comment, and that was like, I don't want you to know me. Like, I don't need there to be intimacy. So I'm thinking, okay, so you don't want anything physical with me, and you don't want to like open up and really get to know each other after all these years. So what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what am I doing here? Like, I got shit to do at home. He knows everybody in town. If he's looking for somebody just to hang out with, there's like a million people just to hang out with. But it was just irritating because he kept making these sexual inferences, and I'm like, okay.
So you are interested.
But then
You aren't.
Then you're not interested.
Oh my God, that's too scary! Who would do this fast? You could die.
When you're a guy, on this piece you got to slow, but some people don't know, or they'll get scared. Can you imagine if you hit the throttle right now?
You'd be dead.
See ya.
Absolutely. Completely.
All the guys down here, they're hot, hot, hot. Like when they like you, you know it. They're men. They're like, there's some decisiveness. Like, you are beautiful and I'm gonna get you. And there's something really sexy that women like in that decisiveness. Like, you're hot, and even if it's a game and a put on, it makes you feel nice, you know? Now, then there's another side of that where if you've had that already, you're like, oh, I've heard this game. Like this, oh yeah, like I'm as beautiful as the moonlight when you're surfing. Thank you. You know, it's funny that you had this conversation about that there's 3 different types of people. One that really wants to engage in intimacy, and they're the type of people that stay married for 60 years happily, and they like the idea of really being very close and intimate with another person, and they can do that for a lifetime. And then there's another kind of person that enjoys the intimacy and closeness, but only for a certain period of time, because after that it gets maybe boring, and they're looking for something exciting, and the intimacy is lovely, but now they want to rediscover it somewhere else. And then there's the third kind of person that really just doesn't want to engage in any kind of intimacy. There's a physicalness in life that they enjoy with another person, but the mental or emotional side, maybe they're not even familiar with their self in that respect, so they can't really share that. So I found on the internet a lot of people, it's a mental thing, it's all mental communication. So I find that really exciting because it fulfills like a whole thought process that I can't find here with anybody. Very supportive family who have lots of money. He doesn't ever have to worry about security because he hits rock bottom, he goes home, and he's always got a place and food in the fridge and love from his parents. He has an ex-wife who will always be an ex-wife. She will always be the mother to his children. He's got 3 kids that will always love him. So he's not looking for love in his life. He's looking for fun. But I was going to be that fun person for the night. But I think it scared him. Because maybe I am, like maybe if I had sex yesterday, then he'd be into it. Because then it's obviously meaningless. Because when he finds out that I haven't had sex in 5 years, he's like, whoa, I can't go there. Because I know she's going to have some emotional investment if we have sex. But I was willing for it just to be one night. Like I could do that with him. You know, if that's the agreement, that's the idea,
Yeah.
you know, that would work. I understand where he's at. But it's just an interesting thing how some people don't look into like the whys. Like when he he's always poking at me, right? So he's like, oh, you're one of those phone people, because I had my camera with me. And I'm enjoying doing these YouTube videos. I'm not a picture taker person, but I like to do these videos because there's a really emotional side of why I'm doing this. There's like reasons why. And it would be interested if he was interested in knowing those reasons, like I'm interested in knowing the reasons why he is the way he is. And if he knows about himself, he can describe that to me. If he doesn't know himself, he can't even go there. But I can tell you why I do this. So I said, no, I'm not a phone girl. I'm not one of those, I don't have a smartphone. So I'm not one of those people like buried in a phone all the time. I never take a fucking selfie. Like I don't do that. But I do like doing the videos because I don't have the kids and the ex-wife and all these markers in life, like first day at school, birthdays, anniversaries.
Buying the house. Well,
buying the house,
but
you know, like
built it yourself.
I built my house myself, okay, so I have that. But that was like labor. That wasn't even a memory that I formed with anyone. That's like the blood and the scars on my body. Those are my memories of building my house. You know what I mean? But you know, there's been so many like beautiful sunsets and oh, Lelania, that's such a beautiful sunset. Yes, it's a beautiful sunset, Lelania. I'll remember this forever. So will I. It only goes so far, right?
You're really not in line with what we're... Good morning there. You want to come? Come paddleboarding with us tomorrow morning.
I guess being on the internet, there's a lot of people that analyze, you know, they're like debunking each other and analyzing each other's words, and I find that interesting, the more psychological, intellectual side of life. But I'm also like a really physically bodied, minded person too, so it's kind of difficult to find. So down here I can find all kinds of physically minded bodies, but nobody has the ability to dive into their own psychology and their own needs and how they differ from other people's and why they differ from other people. I am not a fickle lover. I don't fall out of love. You know, I love him, and to this day, even the men that treated me like junk, who I was madly in love with, even the men who I, was madly in love with, I didn't lose that that attraction. Like,
Oh my God! He was coming right for ya!
it's really hard for me to be attracted to somebody. That doesn't happen easy for me. But when it does, it doesn't go away. So I'm a very loyal person. I also think we had this interesting conversation about him. He kept saying, oh, this person is so great. No, this person is so nice. And this person is wonderful. Oh yeah, he's wonderful because he's so cool and he surfs so well and he knows everybody and he bought me a beer. So he's cool. But then I always think of the realistic side of it. Everybody wants to sugarcoat everything. So they went, oh, he's such a great guy. Well, don't think about the fact that he has a 7-year-old, or now I think she's like 10, a 10-year-old little girl that he had no part in raising. This is a small town. He walks right past his little girl and doesn't even acknowledge her. Like, that's not a great person. He told the baby mother that he didn't want to have anything to do. He didn't even pay a dime. This is a tiny town. And so that is something about him that's important. You know, that's who he is, not him at a bar and he knows everybody, he's buying you a drink.
Yeah.
Like the thing when he's like, oh, Leo is such a great guy. Well, yeah, he's a wonderful guy. But I watched him and his Rottweiler. I watched him. Okay, there's a lot of construction. Story time gets inconvenienced. I watched this guy who's got a Rottweiler who kills dogs. The neighbor's dog came over. His dog, the Rottweiler, caught hold of the dog, and instead of saving his neighbor's dog from his own dog, he enjoyed and took great pleasure in watching his Rottweiler kill his neighbor's dog. He didn't tell his neighbors. He hid the body. And his neighbors were like, oh, we were missing a dog. And he's like, he knows his own dog killed it. And not only did he know his own dog killed it, he watched the process with glee. Yeah, he's a great guy. I'm his friend. But you learn things about people. And then that has to mean something. So to me, a person isn't so great because they're great to me. They're great because of their actions. And to me, nobody cares about integrity anymore. Nobody cares about loyalty. Nobody, you know, and it's all this glib look. So I know there's all these prostitute girls down here because like, oh, she's so hot. Yeah. She's 18, they're all hot when they're 18. I was fucking hot when I was 18, okay? You know, they're all hot when they're 18, and she's hot because her nails are fucking perfect. Her outfit was purchased by another guy who got up into her and wanted to buy her some shit. Her makeup was purchased, her hair is done. She is spending hours every day to look the way she does. And they're like, oh no, natural girls are just naturally that way. No. I was a girl. I know. Okay? They are not naturally that way. They put it on. And I watch them. I can see how women behave. I'm like, yeah, hey, this is me. How's it going? And that's going to attract nobody. I'm in my fucking kitchen. But if I'm at a bar and I'm all dressed, I'm like, hi, how are you? And everything is like on and like shiny and good. And this is what the men are attracted to. So they're not like, oh, they're like, oh, I want a real woman, a woman who's got a head on her shoulders. But the fact is that's not what they're attracted to. I left. He was like, it left. Like he was like, well, I'm gonna jump in the shower and like I'll call you later. I'm like, sure. Let's go, Sarah. And then we just walked home. And somebody called me last night, I didn't answer the phone. But I did say, thank you for a beautiful day. It was very memorable. I had a lovely time. Nice to see you again. Heart, smiley face, XOXO. All's good in paradise, which is what he wants to hear. And then he wrote back like, I'm sorry I was so tired. Like, if you were so tired, then why were you always looking for something else to do to avoid being alone with me? When I was obviously saying like, he wrote me, he said, I have no game, I'm all yours. Okay, you're tired, I'm all yours. Where's the...
He has a hotel room.
He has a hotel room.
You're there. How about you have a nap together?
Yeah,
Cuddle.
yeah, something. But he didn't, he avoided that. So he's like, and then the last sentence is like, I'm tired, I caught up on my sleep. Sorry I was so tired last night. Yeah, it was really good. We had a blast. If you want, since I've caught up on my sleep, we can get together later on tonight. If I want.
If you want.
If you want.
You can hang out.
If you want, we can hang out. I can fucking hang out with it. Yeah. Like... If you want to get to know me, if I was into hanging out at bars, then I'd be like, oh, small talk hangout, like I don't, again, if I was this deep, then that's the deepest you'd go. You go sit in a bar and you get fully fulfilled with your interactions with other people talking shit. But I am online with these guys that talk shit all night. So I get the talking shit out of me. That's good. I can talk shit with the rest of these guys. And it's because I miss male companionship and this like, I'm a female. I think I'm like masculine in a way, like in my thought process. Like I'm tough. I'm a tough cookie. And I've had to be. It's not like it's part of my personality because it's a necessity of being a single woman who has to like take care of herself and has to be like efficient and directive. And I was a businesswoman. You can't be a businesswoman like, oh, well, sure, whatever you want. I have no opinion, whatever you like. Like it doesn't work. I wouldn't be able to take care of myself if that, and there's lots of women that don't take care of themselves. Like all these women that drive cars and have these things that I don't have, they didn't work for it. They fucked for it. That's why they have it. So then there's this whole feminism thing, how, online, like in the real world, nobody cares about feminism, but online it's this topic of conversation. And that I'm an anti-feminist, but I was grown up as a feminist, like independent, I can do it, we're equal, I can do everything on my own. But the fact is I can't. I am a woman, and there's things that men do better. And being alone, yeah, I can make do, but life would make more sense and would be easier with a partner who does male things, and I can do female things. And then that's not a feminist point of view, like we should be equal, like there's not male things, and that's like a social construct, but it's not. Like I told you that when we went with Brian over to his place and I saw my gardener guy. I gotta post that video, I still haven't posted it, of him cutting down my tree. The guy is my build, and he does things that no manly man from the States could do. This is like a real jungle, like incredibly strong. Just climbs a tree like a monkey. And like with a chainsaw in his hand, in one hand just wheels around the chainsaw and cuts the whole tree down himself. I mean, it blows my mind. The tree is filled with ants. I don't care what kind of butchy woman you are. You ain't gonna do that job. And if you are a woman to do that job, you're very unique. You're not like the typical woman. And I'm not the typical woman. I'm a tough woman. I can do everything myself. But there's certain things that like men just do 100 times better than me. Like maybe I could wheel around a chainsaw and climb a tree at the same time and cut the whole fucking thing down myself. Maybe, without cutting my arm off. Maybe, right? But that's the last thing I want to do. Whereas he'll do that, like with not a thought of problems. To me, it'd be like, oh my God. You know, it's just, this is a man's thing. He's done it a million times before, I've never done it, that's another thing, but I don't know.